What is up, you guys? Glitchiz here, coming at you with another Dauntless video. But first, if you enjoy quality gaming content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys arguably the funnest build that I've ever made. I had so much fun making this build and testing it. It was super cool. And it may have made the Avatar of Control my new favorite avatar to run in the Frost Escalation. And let's jump into the build so I can show you guys why. Now, if you guys have been paying attention to the recent patch notes, the Avatar of Control actually got a huge buff recently. They increased the percentage of stagger damage bonus that we get from 30% up to 50%. So a big 20% jump there, which made the Avatar of Control much more viable. And with this particular build, it made the frostbite mitigation with the Avatar of Control some of the easiest frostbite mitigation I've had on any build with any other avatar yet. So really easy to manage, especially if you're solo, and really fun to use. So right out the gate, for the hammer of choice, we're running the Magma Quake. This is the Torgadoro legendary blaze weapon from the Blaze Escalation. Not only will we be getting a base 25% damage bonus because of the element, because any frost behemoth will be weak to the blaze element, we will also be putting in double catalyst cells to get us to +6 catalyst, which is really strong and helps us out because at +6, we're going to be getting 60% bonus tonic effectiveness, as well as 60% tonic duration. And for the tonics, we're running the Blitz tonic and Frenzy tonic, which will give us increased attack speed and increased damage. So with that +6 catalyst, both of these potions are going to get huge buffs. They'll last upwards of a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes, like a minute and 40 some odd seconds with the 60% bonus. And the amount that we're getting is greatly increased as well. So ideally, you'll pop these potions at the beginning of every round. Typically, because you kill the first round behemoth so fast, I don't even bother with them on round 1. But on the beginning of 2, 3, 4, and the final boss, I make sure to pop these, and it really helps just because it lasts so long. And then lastly, we're going to be running Cleansing Pylon, obviously, for those emergency situation frostbite issues we might run into. Honestly, like I mentioned before, this particular build was the easiest frostbite management of any avatar build I've made yet. So there was a few times where I didn't even need to use these. I did use one, maybe two, in the run I'll show you guys at the end of the build breakdown, but it's only because I ran into a really cheeky bug in the game right now, and it's pretty funny but kind of annoying. So make sure to stick around to the very end of the escalation run to see that. I kind of put a little teaser out there on the community page if you guys have already seen that, but it was really cool. But for the helmet, or no, back to the weapon, for the special mod, we are running Concussive Salvo. And the reason I'm running this instead of the Mighty Landbreaker is because Concussive Salvo will give us that option to charge our right click and get an interruptible attack to interrupt the behemoths more easily. And for those of you that don't know, the second half of the Avatar of Control is you get the frostbite mitigation bonus when you stagger a behemoth, but also when you interrupt a behemoth. So having that as an additional interrupt option is always good to have. And then for the regular mod, I'm running Extended Clip to increase our ammo to 6. And then lastly, for the bond, we got to run that Hellion bond for the +3 overpower. And it will also give us a +225 damage tick every 5th hit. And as you'll see in the video as well, we do insane attack speed for hammers with this build. So you're going to be proccing that bonus damage really frequently. So awesome mod to have there, or bond rather. Moving on to the helmet, we have the Dark Watch. This is the Shroud helmet. That will have +3 rage built in, and we're also going to be running a +3 discipline cell. And for those of you that don't know, rage when under 50% health will give us another 25% damage boost. So we will be getting to +6 rage with this build, and +3 discipline, besides keeping us at the 50% health mark, will also give us a 7.5% critical strike chance bonus. So really good combo there. Moving on to the chest piece, we have the Mantle of Thorns. This will have +3 predator built in. This is the Koshai chest piece. We will get to +6 predator in this build for the increased damage, as well as our first cascade cell. Now cascade is going to be our hybrid damage and utility survivability perk at +6 cascade. For those of you that don't know, not only do we get a chance to spawn a invincibility shield similar to the shield you get when collecting the purple crystals from Valamir, but all of the normal buffs that drop get boosts as well. So the red one, which would typically only give you a standard power boost, now will have increased duration to that power boost, so you'll do those powerful hits for a longer period of time. The yellow stamina boosts will now give you even more stamina, and the healing green orb power boost, which would typically only give you health regeneration, will now also give you shields, which are permanent. So as long as you're not getting hit, those shields will carry over into the next fight, and you won't have to worry about them disappearing after however many seconds, like the Lantern Hold perk or say Torrent Shield, for example. So really, really strong there. Cascade, really, really good. Moving on to the gloves, we have the Malkirian's Grasp. These are the Malkirian gloves. That will give us our second +3 into Predator to get us +6, as well as +3 into Wild Frenzy for the increased attack speed. Now Predator, for those of you who don't know what that does, after not taking damage for 15 seconds, we will get +35% damage. You do lose this when you get hit, so you kind of need to be good at dodging, or else this won't really be up. But if you are pretty good at dodging and you've gotten used to the attack patterns of all the behemoths, this is a huge damage boost, which you can keep with you for a long period of time. And it should be up at the beginning of every arena, because there's approximately 15 seconds in between each fight. So at least at the beginning of the round, you'll have it. So really, really good there. Moving on for the legs, I'm running the Volcanic Treads. These are the Charog legs. That will give us our second +3 to get us to +6 for Rage. And then I'm putting a +3 Overpower cell to get us to +6 for Overpower. Now, if you don't know what Overpower does, I can say that a million times. It's one of the strongest cells in the game. I highly recommend you try and put this into every build that you make, because it gives you a 60% damage boost for staggered behemoths. Now, staggered behemoths aren't technically just when you actually stagger them, but anytime you get a part break on a behemoth and they do that little interrupt animation, that is also the behemoth being considered being staggered. So you will run into this +60% perk really frequently during the fight, and it's a big power boost. Last but not least, for the Lantern, we're running the Embermane's Rapture for the 25% increased attack speed, and for the Hold, it creates a AoE fireball that does a ton of damage, and that is where our second +3 Cascade cell is going to go. Now, we will be attacking so fast with this hammer build that you'll notice from the footage, we proc our Lantern Hold ability literally like every 2 seconds. We are just spitting buffs all over the ground on the arena. So you should have health regen, shields, power boost, stamina, pretty much everything you need throughout the entire fight without any issues whatsoever, because we're going to be clicking that Lantern Hold all the time. So really, really strong there. Now, the last thing I want to go over is the amps that I chose for the Frost Escalation to get the most out of this build. So let's quickly jump over to the Escalation Terminal. Should be right over here. Take a run over to Ark and Drew here. All right, now for the Frost Escalation amps, these are actually pretty much the same amp choices that I chose for the support build. If you guys haven't seen that video, really good build for the Avatar of Unity. Post a link above for that. Pretty much the same exact amps. The only thing I changed is instead of taking Aspect of the Mender, I obviously chose the Aspect of the Defender because we're running the Avatar of Control. Now, for those of you that don't know what these do, I'll go over them real quick. For those of you that already know, feel free to just pause the video and you can copy it right here or listen to the whole description. But to start out, putting 1 point into Frozen Armor, this will give us some bonus shields. We're putting 3 points into Zai's Maneuvers for the 15% passive movement speed buff, as well as 1 point into Fur-lined Gear. This used to be called Insulated Gear, but they just changed the naming of it in a recent patch. That will give us some frostbite mitigation. In the second column, we're taking 1 point into Fur-lined Gear 2 for even more frostbite mitigation, as well as 3 points into Borman's Might for the 15% passive stagger damage. Really, really strong because we're using hammers. Moving on, we have 3 points into Moira's Reinforcement. That will give us 15% passive damage reduction for the whole escalation, as well as 1 point into Fur-lined Gear 3 for more frostbite mitigation, and 1 point into Bottled Warmth, which will allow us to absorb the effects of the brazier and allow the effects of the brazier to last for 8 seconds after leaving the radius of the lantern itself. So all of the running in between from arena to arena, This bonus warmth effect will prevent us from taking unnecessary frostbite meter charge as we're running from fight to fight. So really, really good there. Moving on, we have 1 point heated blade. This will allow us to absorb the brazier flame, giving our next attack 50% increased damage. The cool thing about this perk is it actually can stack. So for example, from the final fight with the double behemoths up to the boss fight with Urska, you pass by like 5 or 6 braziers. So that's 5 or 6 bonus damage hits that you're going to be doing right at the beginning of the fight. So a really good initiator for pretty much every single round, as long as you're collecting all those braziers along the way. Next, we have 1 point into Warm Blooded. This is our get out of jail free card. If for some reason your team's slacking on those cleansing pylons and you do get frozen, Warm Blooded will allow you to break out of that ice barrier once per run and reduce your frostbite meter back down to 50%. So it's like a free life basically. And then lastly, 3 points into Cat's Claws to give us 10% passive attack damage for the entire escalation. Second to last column, we've got 1 point into Never Bothered Me. This is the amp that rapidly increases our frostbite meter to 50%, which for some people might be a little scary, but trust me, with the amount of damage and stagger output that you're going to be doing with this build, you shouldn't have too much an issue managing it. But the big side of it is that you get a 15% passive attack damage and damage reduction buff throughout the entire escalation as well. So really, really strong there. And like I said, as long as you can manage your frostbite, this is one of the strongest amps in the Frost Escalation pool, in my opinion. Next, we have 3 points into Lucky Strikes. That will give us 15% passive critical strike chance for the entire escalation, as well as 1 point into Cold Rush, which when a behemoth dies, we will be getting 25% increased movement speed, 10% increased damage, and 15% increased attack speed for 2 minutes after a behemoth dies. So all of those rounds where we have the double behemoths, that is a big boost that we're going to be getting, jumping from the first one that we slayed into the second one, making that second half of the fight really, really easy. And then lastly, obviously, we're going to be taking Aspect of the Defender because we're running that Avatar of Control. When a behemoth becomes staggered, we gain 2% increased attack speed for the remainder of the escalation. This increases to 4% because we're running the Avatar of Control. So by the time you get to the boss fight, you have tons of stacks of this. You're going to be swinging your hammer insanely fast by the time you get to the boss and throughout the entire escalation, in all honesty. So really, really strong, and all of these amps synergize really, really well. So yeah, really fun build. Like I said, the Avatar of Control may be my new favorite avatar to run in Frost Escalation just because of this build. It's super, super fun. So let's jump over to some escalation gameplay, and be sure to stick around to the end to see that funny bug. But yeah, enjoy, you guys.
I've spotted a crack in its armor. Target my mark. struck another blow for Skaldastar. You have courage, but don't be a fool. Warm yourself against the frostbite near the safe areas before it's too late. I'll do what I can to help you deal with the frostbite. Take shelter in the areas of Worm Sky Slayer. the Frost Wardens, and perhaps our new allies, will be ready.
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're looking to join a killer community of like-minded gamers, then be sure to click the link in the description and join the Glitch Gang Discord server. We continue to grow every day, and it's filled with all your favorite game discussion channels, as well as several LFG channels to help you find that perfect group for your next hunt or raid. Lastly, if you're new to the channel and want to keep up to date with all my future content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Hope you all had a great day, and I will catch you on the next one.